Hey guys, welcome to our Rosebud Thorn. And oh my goodness, if I could get the English out. Today we are talking about May 19th to 24th. So without further ado, roses, what's going well? Buds, what's coming along? And thorn is, for lack of a nicer way of saying it, what's a pain in your ass right now?
All right, so we got Julia first. Julia says her rose is long walks and still getting movement in. That is awesome. Bud is nutrition this week wasn't terrible. Okay, verbiage sounds better, but I could have made better choices in some moments. Okay, love that because that means it's coming along. Perfect. And Thorn feeling overwhelmed with the last 2 weeks being very busy for me in both my work life and personal life, but I'm looking forward to resetting this weekend. I love that. So realizing that, life has been crazy busy, um, but there is the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, where we can start to see things slowing down a little bit and being able to take some of that time back. So I absolutely love that you're already, working your way out of that thorn, so to speak.
And I'd love to know what you have planned for your weekend reset to help you get back to the rhythm that you enjoy.
Yeah, and one other thing too, guys, is when we are feeling really overwhelmed, whether it's work, personal life, because everything kind of mixes together, making sure that we are taking some time for ourselves, whatever that looks like, right? So if you are somebody that enjoys writing or enjoys reading or enjoys whatever it is, yoga, basic movement, sunshine on your skin, whatever it is, something that fills your cup, making sure that even when we get busy, even when life gets crazy hectic, that we do take a little bit of time for ourselves can help us stay away from that burnout. So taking a little bit of time for yourself is really important. And I love that you are starting to look forward to that.
Hannah says her rose meal prep is always good. Also, I've been able to not eat out even when I have been late getting off work or forgot my lunch. That's a huge rose. Way to go. But being more snack conscious, that's important, right? You're like already forward thinking. It's coming along. I'm either snacking on healthier options or choosing to snack less often. And Thorn, I'm struggling with time management and workouts this week really badly. Neck and back are also in pain from work and sleep. Okay, so let's tackle this, Thorn. Time management. I think Julia had the same kind of thing. Life is busy. So is there things that we can let go of, or all these things needing to take place? And if they are all needing to take place, am I able to let go of my workouts a little bit, or am I needing to get up a little earlier to make sure that they happen? Now, as for the neck and back pain from work and sleep, my first question is, one, what does your posture look like at work? I know you do sit a lot at work, so I'm wondering, what does posture look like? And are we getting some stretching happening to take care of that pain? Because usually the pain comes from muscle tension and tightness, meaning like if I'm slouching forward at work, I'm going to have back pain because those muscles are extended the whole time and my chest is going to be really tight. So do I need to do more chest expansions? Is there time in my day where maybe I am watching TV at nighttime or something along those lines where I can fit in a little bit more stretching?
Yeah, no, I love that. And then also starting to look at if neck and back pain are something that you are dealing with consistently, then starting to look at exercises that can help strengthen those areas to be able to more or less reinforce that portion of your body so that we can kind of stay away from the pain. I know a lot of people deal with upper back and neck, like when you're working a desk job and we're forward and we're here all the time. So starting to work the posterior delts, the rear side of your shoulders, and that upper back as well can be really great. So if that is something that you're interested in, Hannah, definitely reach out and we can have a chat about some of those exercises. In fact, I think you're coming to my double track class tonight, so maybe I'll go over them with you tonight.
Sleep, on the other hand, now if we're starting to notice we're waking up in pain from sleep, I'd ask you what your mattress is doing. Do you have like maybe a mattress topper that you can put on there to help? Is your pillow too low? Could we get a more ergonomically proportioned pillow? I know for myself, sometimes I have to stack, in order for me to lay on my left side, I have to stack two pillows just because I have issues with that shoulder. So starting to find ways that you can make yourself more comfortable so that the pain from work that like work causes on the body isn't exacerbated at nighttime, because we should be resting and recovering and not continuing to enforce those injuries.
Yeah, another just little. If you already do this, great. If not, it might be something worth trying. Lots of times, if people deal with back pain in their sleep, it's because of the way their legs line up, because their hips are a little bit out of sync while we're sleeping. So, having a pillow between your knees can actually really help relieve some of that low back pain if that is where you're dealing with back pain too.
Awesome.
All right, Casey. Casey's Rose workouts have been great this week. Love that. Even went back and started some from last year's transformation program. Atta boy, Case. I love that you're getting that movement back in. Bud, my body's looking better already and I'm feeling great. Love that. Thorn, water intake is low and my mental health is needing attention. Stress is high, life is busy. I tried to make this year easy, but it seems that's not how it's supposed to go. So I'm just going to keep grinding away at what I'm good at to keep the demons at bay. Mm. Mental health can take a suffering, a little bit of a beating, and especially Casey, I know like you're similar to Kayla and I, entrepreneur, you run your own show, so there are those stressful moments within your day, 110%. So getting back to the basics, what has worked for us in the past for stress? I know breathing techniques have worked with you in the past. I know getting your runs in, as crazy as it seems, more exercise, more movement, but I remember that you said back when we were training before that when you went on those runs, you noticed that the mental health did improve. So what are the things that have been successful in the past to help us work through any of those struggles, any of that busy, crazy work schedule? And starting to look at have we let those kind of fall away, or is it something that we could start putting more focus and attention and intention into?
Grounding. So being out in nature can be very grounding for us. So can we take a walk in the woods? Can we go for a little exploration down by a river? But something that allows you to get back in touch with nature can be very helpful for relieving that stress and bringing you back into the present moment. Now, one of the things you said in this is, I tried to make this year easy, but it seems that's not how it's going to go. So my one question for you is, what are you saying yes to? What are you not putting boundaries with, and you're saying yes to, and you're allowing to take place? And where can we begin to set boundaries? Where can we begin to say, no, not today, and not take on the weight of the world? Because as an entrepreneur, we often will say yes to everything, and we're only giving ourselves a piece of each thing, versus if we can step back and say yes to the things that have greater meaning, we can give a lot more of ourselves to them and not feeling like we're being so stretched thin and that there's no pieces left at the end of the day. So it's just something to think about in that respect. Mental health is huge, and we all have our own techniques that work for it. The full moon is going to play into it. I know people like hate it when I say that, but the full moon was yesterday and I'm starting to feel a little less crazy today. So, paying attention to when are my emotions the most high? When am I noticing I struggle the most? Is the food that I'm consuming, is it affecting my mental health? Like I realize I get really, really lethargic when I eat garbage food. And when I say garbage food, my food is not that bad, but I mean, like if I have a lot of sugar, the following day I'm dragging my ass. And I really do notice when I have, a drink, a drink of alcohol, how it does affect my performance, not just one day, but a couple days post having it, and that I can't push the same level. So starting to understand the foods and the things that you're also consuming that are affecting your energy levels and your mental health, because it all very much is combined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Last thing for you, Casey, too. I remember the other one for you, mountains. Get to the mountains, my friend. Maybe even if it's just a day drive, take the kids, take Heather out, go check out the mountains and get that energy back into you, buddy. All right, Michelle's Rose. I made iron body beef stroganoff. Huge accomplishment for me. I love that. When Michelle and us started working together, there was 0% chance that she was going to make food like this, and now she is absolutely crushing it, and I couldn't be more proud. So awesome job.
And she made egg bites yesterday.
I saw that. The stroganoff looked amazing. The egg bites looked amazing. Even though you said you may have fudged the recipe a little bit, they looked fudging delicious. Your bud this week is just keep moving forward. And Thorn, the clock. Seems like things can't come fast enough. And I've learned nothing but patience this past year, but I still think time is going too slowly.
I feel like you're in your own little bubble. My time goes too fast.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because there is the two sides of the coin there, right? When we have something that we are looking forward to, a life-changing thing on the horizon, time can't go fast enough to get us there, right? But as soon as that happens and we get this life-changing event to happen, well, now it's like we can't bring that time back in. So what I'm going to say is enjoy the time as it's going slowly. If time's going slow, let's fill our days with things that fill our cups. Let's start working on that mental game. Let's keep working on everything that you've been pouring your energy into over this last year and a half, and enjoy the time while it is going slow, because guess what? It is going to speed right back up as soon as we get past this event on the horizon. So enjoy the time while it's slow. Fill your cup, and I'm really excited for everything that is coming down the pipeline for you.
100%.
Really?
Tito's come to say hi.
Okay.
I
Next
know.
person.
Sorry. Bianca says her Rose, I'm getting a walk in every day with my 1-year-old, trying to do workouts when I can fit them in. I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I love that you're bringing the baby with you, right? The 1-year-old coming for the walk with you. When we show our children how important physical activity is, that is something that they catch on to, and it becomes a lifelong thing for them. So awesome job, Bianca.
But food so far is going okay. I'm making more of an effort not to drink my calories. I love that. And when we start to consume our food where we're actually having to mastize it or chew it, it makes us feel fuller. We are more satisfied because there's so many other points that get hit, right? So there's this piece of like tasting the food and smelling the food and chewing the food that really does help us feel satisfied and full. So I love that. Thorn, sticking to a routine with all the sickness, hospital and doctor's visits, I'm struggling to focus on me at the moment. Do you know what? In those moments, I think sometimes it's okay to just let it go. Right? We don't have to put a ton of time aside for us. So maybe the moment for you is just in the bathroom when you're using the washroom, taking a couple breaths and recentering yourself. What can you do to come back to you, to ground yourself? Kind of like what I was saying to Casey, is there something that you can do outside? Can you, plant a flower, whatever it is? It doesn't have to be a big event, but something that allows you to take that time back for you and not worry so much about, I need to be in a routine and I have to do this, because when we should on ourselves, we really don't allow ourselves the grace that sometimes life happens.
Yeah. The other portion of this too, I love what Kayla said there, and that is a human thing, right? Not being able to fit ourselves into our own schedule, especially once we have kids, especially when we have spouses and life and responsibilities and everything that comes with that. It's really easy to put ourselves on the back burner and work on everybody else first. So getting back in a routine where we can start to put a bit of emphasis on ourselves, start small, right? Like I do this myself, and I've found recently that I've been spending a lot more time doing all of the things for other people, but kind of letting myself go to the wayside sometimes, just because we are running two businesses and we do have a ton of clients, which I'm very thankful for. But in the same breath, it's like I let myself go because I have to focus on everybody else first. So starting to take back the small moments, maybe like Kayla said, maybe it is just doing some breathing. Maybe it's doing a small meditation. Start with 2 or 3 minutes and kind of work into that mindfulness for yourself. So when we start to take back small time amounts for ourselves, we can create a sustainable habit with it, right? So again, if we could try and go from nothing to, well, I'm going to do an hour and a half of yoga every night because I love yoga, it's not going to be sustainable. We're not going to be able to stick with an hour and a half out of our schedule when we haven't put any time into our schedule for ourselves in a long time. So starting small, starting with breathing, starting with a small meditation, starting with just doing a gratitude practice, right? Like just things you're thankful for in the day. Maybe at dinner time, you go around the table and you say it with your family, whatever it is, but starting to take those small moments back and doing that consistently until we get into the habit of taking more time for ourselves as we can. So I love that the thought process is there, and just start slowly working it into your schedule. All right. Rows for Jamie this week. My custom workouts for shoulder and glutes have been is the rows. I love it. Have been consistent pushing and have noticed a difference in just a week. Yeah. Today, for the first time in probably 2 years, I was able to do my bra up in the back. No more doing it up in front and trying to spin it around or having my hubby do it for me. Hell yes. My arm was actually able to reach around up and pull the ends together with very minimal discomfort. Huge win for me. Let's go. I love that. My favorite thing is when I have people that come into my life and they tell me they're in pain constantly. And that sounds weird because we know the body well enough that we're like, hey, we can make this better for you. I promise. Just give me a little bit of trust and we can play with this. And that's what happened. And I love it. Atta girl, Jamie. Jamie's bud is I'm not sure what's coming along. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get to eat my food. While it's much cleaner food, I still struggle starting the day with a meal and getting it all in. I feel heavier, have not set foot on the scale, but my body says sad face. And perhaps because I haven't done weights, but when I do my custom exercise, I'm very muscle aware for each one, so I know I'm doing that portion. That's awesome. And right now the focus is not the scale, right? So I love that you haven't been stepping foot on the scale. You've just been letting that do its thing, cleaning up the eating and doing the movement that we've kind of set forward for you to create that path to a pain-free life.
We're working on refeeding metabolism as well.
Mhm.
So just on that bud note, one thing I want to say is don't feel like you have to eat breakfast. If breakfast isn't your jam, maybe you do brunch. Maybe you just pile more calories at lunchtime. So listen to your body with what you're willing to do. I've had a client before that wasn't willing to eat breakfast, but what she was willing to eat was chocolate cake. So we started with chocolate cake and she ate chocolate cake every day to create the habit and start to create those hunger cues that come in for breakfast. So listen to your body.
Mm-hmm. And I want to throw this out there too, because there's a huge mental aspect that goes into a refeed, especially if you are somebody who has, and I'm not saying this specifically for you, Jamie, this is just for everybody that might be listening, especially if you have been like a chronic dieter over the years. When we go from restricted eating to a refeed of sorts, where we're bringing that metabolism up, we're getting your body and your energy systems working for you again, it can be the most uncomfortable thing. Because in your mind, you're saying, I want to lose weight. I want to lose fat, whatever it is. But then you're consistently eating more food. So a lot of the time, it's really the mental struggle and that feeling like you're saying, like your Thorn here says, the fact that with the increased food, I'm gaining weight, or if I'm not gaining, I feel pudgy, right? So that feeling of I'm eating so much, I'm probably gaining weight. So the reality is because next week when I have you in, we will be doing a weigh-in. We're going to see where we're actually sitting. So once we do that, the reality might be that we haven't gained a pound. Our body composition is just starting to change. So when we start to realize that eating a little bit more food doesn't always mean gaining weight, when we can start to associate those things in our mind, we'll start to alleviate that feeling of, holy crap, I'm going to be gaining weight. So let's wait until next week, like I said, and we're going to play with that. We'll see where we're at, and then we can make a plan from there. But again, for everybody else, that mental side of consuming more food can be challenging. That can be that piece of discomfort. Now, what I like to say to everybody, change doesn't happen within our comfort zone. If we've been doing the same thing, if we eat the same 1,200, 1,100, whatever calories for our entire life, and we're expecting to lose weight, lose fat, and it hasn't been happening, if we continue to do the same thing and expect a different result, that is literally the definition of insanity. So starting to release that control, trusting in the process, and starting to really buy in, because when we're in 1 foot and we're out 1 foot, it makes it harder to get that progress long term. Whereas if we jump in with 2 feet, trust the process, lean into that discomfort, I promise you that our job isn't we're not fattening up a prize pig for a competition, right? Our job as coaches is to get you to your goal in the fastest, most efficient, and most sustainable way possible. So refeed that metabolism, lean into the discomfort. Let's just say worst case scenario, you gain 5 pounds over the last 2 weeks because we've had you eating more food. Well, the good news with that is your metabolism came up with this. You might just be storing 5 pounds because you've had more carbohydrates than you're used to, and your body stores water when you consume carbohydrates. So realistically, let's say 5 pounds is there. As soon as we start to diet that out, guess what? That's going to go pretty darn quickly. And then we're actually, because the metabolism's coming up, we're going to start to see that fat loss that we've been looking for. So lean into the process, guys. Trust that we're not just saying things for funsies, and we 100% got you guys back. I absolutely love this whole Rosebud Thorn. No, Jamie, you're killing it.
Good job. All right. Shania says her Rose eating delicious food with lots of protein and whole ingredients.
Hell yes.
Bud, upping my water intake, and Thorn is time management. That's the third person that's having issues with time management right now.
Themes.
We've talked a lot about time management, but one of the things is, where do you want to spend your time and where are you spending most of your time? Where are your time leeches? Time management is a hard one. I mean, we have 3 different calendars in this house. We have our own planners, we have a virtual planner, and we have a family planner. So for us, time management is something that's difficult as well, but navigating it and using those problem solving skills, and then also taking back our time. These things are more important than those things, so I'm going to prioritize them. So I agree, time management is a thorn. It's a pain, especially as the weather gets nicer. We want to do more and be more outside, and that adds a whole new gamut of chores in my world. So starting to think about, where am I spending more of my time and where would I like to spend it? Because I think sometimes we focus on what we wish we could be doing and don't actually take a look at, where am I spending that extra time?
Yeah, and then the only other thing I would want to say about time management today is just when we are really obsessed with the time, right? When our focus is, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time to do all the things that you want to do in a day. We create our own reality, right? So if we consistently tell ourselves that there's not enough time in the day, then there never will be enough time in the day. So learning to release a bit of that perfectionism around, I need to get everything that I say I need to get done in a day. Sure, there's things that have to happen, but are there things that we could release? Are there things that, yes, if we release it, our day won't be perfect, but it also isn't going to go to hell. We're not just throwing the day away because we have a lot of responsibilities as adults to get done. So making sure that we're first off looking after the things that need to be done, whether that's kids, family, work, food, all the things. And then again, like I was saying in one of the earlier ones, starting to incorporate a couple things a day where it's, even if it's a few minutes where you take it for yourself, because again, that idea of put your own life vest on first before you can start to help other people. When we fill our cup, we have more of ourselves to give. So time management, a lot of the time, starts with taking a bit of time back for yourself. So then you can start to give more of yourself later, because it really does fill that cup, gives you more energy on the backswing. So starting to look at where we can take a bit of that time back, just a little bit for ourselves. And then kind of releasing that perfectionism over everything has to be done every day. Your list of chores is never going away. Whether you rent a house, whether you own a house, whether you live in a freaking trailer, wherever you live, there are chores that will perpetually need to be done, right? We always have to cook food. We always have to do laundry. We always have to have a bath or a shower. There's the laundry list of things that will always be there, and it's always going to be there. So releasing that perfectionism over everything has to be done on a certain day in a certain way, it's all going to get done. So again, allowing yourself some grace, giving yourself that space when you need it, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed, and then taking a little bit back for yourself.
One thing that you said kind of resonated with me, what you were talking about, like energetically, like the story that you tell yourself about what's taking place. So one of the things I want you guys to think about is, energetically, what am I putting out? And what I mean by that is, when we are busy and we're late for something, you notice it's always the times when you're late for something, you hit every freaking red light.
Or you get stuck
every
in
single
traffic.
one,
All of a sudden they're
or-
doing road construction.
Yeah, like there's something that like comes up out of nowhere. But when you're not late, you got the green lights, there's no traffic on the road, like whatever. So start to come back to, energetically, what am I putting out? Am I putting out rushed energy? Am I putting out that I am overwhelmed and I just can't deal with today? Or, am I putting out the idea that there's just not enough time today where I'm going to just be playing catch up all day? When we look at our schedule and we feel that feeling, is there a way to step back and go, okay, there's going to be lots of time today. I've scheduled this really well. I'm going to make sure that I have time for all the things. I mean, even myself looking at my morning today, I was like, oh, this is overwhelming. But I'm like, you know what? We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to record the Rosebud Thorns, and we're going to do it in a timely manner. And I'm going to have enough time for all the other things that need to take place today. That's the decision I decided to come at my morning with. And in fact, my morning has been very, I'm going to say, relaxed. I haven't felt like I had to push or rush anything. I've done all the things I needed to do and taken that time for myself with a new story. So it's just something to be mindful of, is what is that story that you're playing in your mind.
Love it. All right. Emily's rose this week is keeping up with my daily walks. That is awesome. Super proud of you. Her bud is starting to notice improvements in certain exercises. Love it. Thorn this week is having trouble sleeping.
Yeah, well, welcome to full moon.
Yeah, I felt that last night. Last night, for whatever reason, maybe it's because I didn't. Okay, funny story. A little bit of a funny story. Kayla and I were watching the game last night. We had some training earlier, so I only got to watch a bit of the third period into like first overtime, and then I was like, you know what? I really do like. I got to be ready for my morning tomorrow, so I will just catch the highlights tomorrow morning. I'm not going to stay up and watch the game. 38 seconds into the second overtime, I would have seen the game-winning goal. Doesn't matter. That's okay. But again, I went to bed because I was like, I need to get sleep. I want to make sure that I'm well rested. Well, I went to bed last night and for the life of me could not fall asleep. It was that, classic, my legs were too warm. So then my legs are out of the blanket and then I'm too cold and then I'm back under the blanket. It was just whatever I did, I couldn't fall asleep last night. So again, Kayla's favorite thing to say is the moon affects your sleep cycles. And I agree 110% because I couldn't fall asleep for the life of me last night. So when we are having trouble sleeping, starting to look at what are the things that have changed around us, right? Is there more stress in our life? If there is, then maybe we need to do a mind dump before bed. Maybe we need to do some breathing or meditation before bed, something to help bring us into a parasympathetic state so our mind isn't just running wild. Because most people, when we look at I read a study, it was a long time ago now, so I can't quote it exactly, but it was something along the lines of 60% of people, I think it was 60 anyways, that have trouble sleeping is because they have an overactive mind as they're trying to fall asleep. So a couple things that I've done that I've found success with when it comes to sleeping. First one is a mind dump. Okay. My brain never stops. It never stops. So when I'm trying to go to bed and I'm like, okay, I need to sleep tonight, I have a notebook beside my bed. It's where I do my dream intention. It's where I do any journaling that I'm going to do before bed. So sometimes after I write like my dream intentions and what I want from my sleep and what I want to bring into, the next day, I will literally just write the words that are coming to my brain and it makes no sense. If somebody read it, they'd be like, what the hell is this? But it's quite literally just anything that my brain is coming up with. I write it down so then my mind sees that is on paper. Because once it's out of my brain and it's on paper, my mind doesn't have to worry about forgetting whatever it was trying to remember. It's on the paper, right? So a mind dump is a great way to do it. Breathing and meditation are two of the strongest things that you can do to slow your mind down and bring you into that parasympathetic state. So into that rest, digest, woo-saw state before bed. So even if it's just some deep nasal breathing, even if it's just focusing on your breath till the point where you can feel and hear your heartbeat as you're doing it, it's a beautiful way to help drift off.
4-7-8 breathing is one of the ones that we often recommend to people to try. So inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8.
Rinse, repeat.
And keep doing that. That'll really calm the nervous system and it does put you into that parasympathetic state. One thing that I find is really helpful is setting intentions. So I set an intention that I'm going to have a deep, restful sleep, or I set an intention before I go to bed of anything that maybe I need to take care of or need to let go of. So meaning like maybe you've had a really stressful day. So maybe the intention that you set, and I write all my intentions down because I'm a visual person, but maybe you could say them out loud, like, or say them in your head. It doesn't have to be written down. It's whatever you're putting out there. So if you've had a really stressful long day, maybe your intention is to release the energy that you've been holding on to through the day or whatever that is. But I didn't I didn't completely think that dream intentions and setting these intentions before I went to bed was going to do that much work for me. And what I've come to learn is the more that I practice setting these dream intentions, the stronger, more powerful they become, the more intertwined into my life and my dreaming, and into my own healing journey, that they become. And I just think that they're so freaking powerful. I barely go a day without setting an intention, whether I remember my dreams or not the following day. That intention is very, very important to me.
Yeah, yeah, I can't understate that enough. We are powerful dreamers as humans, right? How many times have you gone to sleep at night, had a dream, and then within the next however long portions of, maybe not the whole dream, but portions of those dreams start to come to fruition in our day-to-day life, right? We dream into existence the things that we want and desire in this life. So using that almost like a tool, right? Using that as a power tool where it's like, hey, I'm having trouble sleeping. So I'm going to set the dream intention tonight that I'm going to have a full restful sleep. And then I'm going to wake up feeling rested in the morning and I'm going to fall asleep with ease, whatever it is, right? Just starting to set those intentions before you go to bed and realizing and noticing over time how those intentions start to come to fruition in your life. So again, play with your sleep, right? Journal, meditate, breathe, do whatever you need to calm that mind before bed. Set your intention that you're going to have that restful sleep, that you're going to wake feeling well rested in the morning, and that you're going to have an uninterrupted sleep, whatever you want to call it. But start to put energy into that. And when we start to put energy into that, we start to get something out of that.
We have a daughter that can't sleep most nights. She struggles with going to sleep, staying asleep, all of those things.
Overactive mind.
She's got a very overactive mind and she analyzes everything and worries about everything. And so, like, any kind of technique where you can figure out whatever it is that I need to release or let go of to allow me to come into that sleep state. Maybe it's just focusing on that heart space and feeling the rhythm of your breath and in through your heart space. And, there's this beautiful piece of, if you bring your hands to your heart, you actually begin to release the hormone of oxytocin, which is the love hormone. So if you can lay in bed and have two hands on your heart and you can bring your awareness to your breath, you're going to release some oxytocin into your body. And through that oxytocin release, we start to feel that comfort, that safety, that love, and that calming energy. You can also hug yourself. When you hug yourself and you wrap your arms around yourself, your brain gets the same emotional feeling that you get from hugging someone else. Now, I mean, when you give that heart to heart interaction with somebody else, yes, often there is an energetic exchange there that does take place as well. But when we hug ourselves, we begin to release those same feel good hormones. They also help us to feel calm and safe and all of those things. So I can't understate the importance of hugging yourself and hugging others if you can, just to allow ourselves to feel that safety and that comfort. All right. Moving on. Bonnie says her rows dips were good at 12 reps with stacked feet. Could see triceps getting a real workout.
Yeah.
She's getting ripped.
What is your bodybuilding show, Bonnie?
But enjoying the extra ankle and thoracic and hip mobility exercises.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this. When Bonnie and I started working together, it was a weight loss journey. And eventually we decided, fuck the weight loss. We're going to get fucking strong and like work on mobility. And she's just crushing it. So super proud of you, Bonnie. Thorn being able to do low squats when doing the plie squat with the barbell. We've been working on depth through her hips. I'm just absolutely fantastic. You guys, if you don't know Bonnie, she's in her 70s and she is just freaking crushing her workouts and her mobility and just,
But again, that didn't happen overnight, right?
No.
Like this is this thought process, and so many people have it where it's like, when I start working out, I want results right away. B, I want to be strong as hell right away, and C, I want the body I want tomorrow. The reality is, it takes us a long time to do anything in this life, especially when it comes to our body and physical movement. If we haven't been moving in proper movement patterns for a long time, relearning the basic movement patterns. I had, funny story, I had a hockey player, guy that I trained, strong as hell, showed up to me, told me that he had a 315-pound squat. And I was like, fantastic. Show me your squat with just a barbell. And looking at his form, I'm like, I'm willing to bet you have knee pain, and I'm willing to bet your hips or your low back are sore most of the time. Well, yeah, but look at how strong I am. Okay. Fast forward a year and a half, almost 2 years now. This person squats more weight than they ever have, and they do it pain free because we learned how to move the body properly. So again, the ego took a hit, right? When I started working with this individual, the ego took a hit because we went from squatting 315 pounds incorrectly to learning how to just squat the bar. And it was that mental, you could tell there was anguish. It was like, I'm going backwards. And I was like, I promise you, I'm not going to lead you in the wrong direction here. I want you to do this pain-free for the rest of your life. You're a young man. There is no reason you should be in pain. Fast forward to today, pain-free, squats all the weight he wants. 400 or 500 pounds, doesn't matter. Let's have fun. Let's squat some weight. The point here is when we are learning movement patterns, we need to release the ego. Once we release that ego, we learn how to move our body properly. We can make amazing, amazing gains, just like Bonnie has. So if you are somebody that deals with pain on a daily and you want to get strong as hell, learn how to be more mobile, reach out, tell us, right? If you don't tell us that you're in chronic pain, we can't help you. If you do tell us, we will help you. We're those people.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, okay, so Bonnie, we started with her ankle mobility exercises because we've been trying to get squatting and she hasn't been able to get low. So now we're a week and a half into ankle mobility, and she literally says her thorn is being able to get low in her squats, but we're only a week and a half into working on that mobility, right? And up until this point, we've been working on her thoracic mobility because she has a little bit more of a curvature in her upper back. So we've been working on that thoracic extension and immobilizing the upper back, and being able to do a pull-up has actually been what we've been working towards. So I'm just so proud of you, Bonnie. Keep up the great work.
All right, we got Kyla next. Kyla's rose is food intake has stayed steady. Awesome job, Kyla. Love it. Bud is healing. At least I have answers and the meds to move forward. That's awesome. Love hearing that too. Thorn, effects of pneumonia really put a kink in your plans. 100%. So I know I wrote this to you in a message, Kyla, but when I was growing up, I dealt with chronic bronchitis, pneumonia, and bronchial pneumonia. So 100%, I get what you're going through. I did give you those extra breathing exercises. So again, I know it's hard when you got the bubbly lungs. Trust me, I've been there. But learning to start to invoke more of that breathing practice when we can and when we feel able to is going to help us push through that pneumonia faster. So let's work on healing those lungs. Let's release this idea that we got to get all the extra movement in when we are healing from something, especially that affects the lungs so much like pneumonia, and just start to focus on what we can put our energy into.
Right. Like your food, which is crushing it.
Love it.
So keep up that great work.
Oh, yeah.
So Krista says her rose. I just got home from visiting my 95-year-old Oma. She's still getting around on her own and has minimal pain and is mentally sharp enough to beat me at games. This is something I'm adding to my list to motivate me to continue to live a healthy lifestyle, because I also want to age well too and be mobile in my old age. I love this. My grandma's in the same boat. She's 95. She is mobile. I mean, her dementia started to set in a little bit. But she was walking 5 kilometers, up until a couple years ago, and now she's still able to get up and move around the house. So that's amazing. And I love that is a goal for you. But I did my first hike of the year this weekend, and it was a challenge. I was glad to finish it, but I want to keep it up so hiking can get easier through the summer. Hiking is always difficult.
We love hiking.
We love hiking.
We're a big, let's go climb a mountain family.
Yes. But there's no easy in climbing mountains.
No, especially when you got a 5-year-old strapped to your back. Luckily, our 5-year-old now climbs 10,000-foot mountains on his own. Woo! But I love that. I love that you got your first hike in. We have not yet. And I'm
curious,
itching for it.
I'm curious if she was hiking in snow. I heard that the mountains got snow, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
Thorn, while I was away this weekend, I ate a lot of processed food and my gut is really feeling it. I'm happy to be home and back on track, but my next time I go away, I will need to implement more strategies to avoid feeling icky again.
Can I say something?
Go.
I love this. And the reason I love this is because I don't know what you were doing food-wise previous to this program, Krista, like whether you had more of the processed foods or if you've always been whole food based. But and I'm going to throw this out there, if you did eat more of a processed diet and now you've been eating more whole foods, and then you go away and your options while away, because groceries are different when you're camping, are more of the processed foods, noticing the difference. That is huge to me. I love when we start to see that what we fuel our body with is truly important. So as much as it's a thorn, right? Feeling kind of icky, feeling like, oh man, I feel like not great, but it's still that feeling of, I know what to do better, right? To feel better, not do better, because I'm never going to shame somebody. If you go camping, you better believe that when I go camping, I'm going to eat some sausages off the fire. I'm going to eat some chips around the fire with the kids. We're going to make s'mores. We're going to do all the things as well. 100% because you're camping. It's part of that experience, right? But flip side of that, the majority of our meals when we go camping now, we do pack whole foods. We do create meals while we're out there. We always do like campfire spaghetti, right? Like cook up your meat on the fire, cook your spaghetti, do it all on the fire. It's so good. But starting to see those changes, and I love that you already said next time you're going to go away, you're going to implement more strategies to avoid feeling like this again. So you're already thinking, right? There's that mindset shift of next time I'm away, I'm going to do something different so that I feel better because now I feel better most of the time. That's powerful.
Mike and I do a lot of prep before we go away camping and those kinds of things, like setting ourselves up for success for while we are away. Because a lot of the time when we're not in our regular environment, we want easy access things. We don't want to do a lot of prep, especially if your only prep surface is a
tiny
picnic
camper
table
kitchen.
or a camper kitchen or something like that. So if you guys want ideas for things to pack or eat while away, let us know. We always pack one cooler full of fresh food, like a big cooler, and all of the options. But one of my favorites, just so that you guys have an idea, is like grabbing, like, those bag salad mixes. If you already have your protein cooked and you just grab the bag salad mixes, they're like super easy if you're hiking on the side of the mountain to like throw your protein into and then throw the dressing in, and you just shake it in the bag and we eat it straight out of the bag. So that's just a little piece of advice. I think a lot of people will pack like sandwiches and those kinds of things, and that's just
And then like trail mixes are great. Beef jerky is a great one too. Just things that you can have that are those quick grab and goes, but that are going to be more in line with your goals.
yeah. So start to think of what you're willing to let go of and what you might implement instead.
Maybe this summer we'll do an Iron Body camping trip where we go hiking and we find some cool spot to do it. We bring you guys all out and everybody can get a spot and we'll have some fun. It's just a thought at this point.
We'll see. Rebecca says, Rose staying busy and moving more, Bud being active with my family, and Thorn having so many plans on the go has been both good and bad for me. Okay, so I love that you and your family are active. That's phenomenal. Like, I love that it is an everybody thing versus I think in some families it's, one person doing it for themselves and not necessarily including everybody. So I love that. Having more plans and being on the go is good and bad. I think, it's good for our mental health sometimes to be on the go and have things to do. But it's also, we get overwhelmed. Oh, I didn't do these chores or this didn't take place. So I can understand that dichotomy.
Yeah. No, I love it. And as far as like scheduling goes and time management around those things go, please refer to earlier talk.
Well, and I think now that dance competition season is over for you, Becca, I feel like life might open up a little bit more. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Christine says, her Rose, I can feel the extra cardio doing its magic. I just feel better.
Love it.
Love that. Bud, better meal planning for the coming weekend as it seems to be my downfall. I love that you're forward thinking. Hey, noticing, being that scientist for yourself and analyzing, noticing, going, hey, my weekend eating is a little bit off track. Maybe I need to plan better. Maybe I need to be prepared better. And I think I did send you a little note about, storing easy to grab foods around the farm for yourself, because I know that that's usually where you're getting busy. Thorn, it was eating properly on the weekends, but I made extra food during prep. This is to remedy this. I just need to remember to take breaks and eat regularly. Yes, you do. And that was why my tip was stash a protein bar in the barn or in a tractor, or have something so that you're not missing a meal completely, that you are still getting some food, because otherwise we're ravenous by the time we get in the door and we eat anything we can put in our mouth.
Okay, and I just want to talk about that for 1 second. Taking breaks and remembering to eat regularly is a huge thing. We work with a lot of entrepreneurs. We work with a lot of people that are very busy professionals. Okay. Whether it's the farm, whether it's the office, whether it's being out doing your thing, whatever you do, missing meals because we are too busy, right? So starting to schedule our meals. If it is something that is important to us and we know that we need to get these in and we are missing them, let's schedule those meals, right? Schedule them like you would any other appointment. It is non-negotiable. If you are somebody that consistently misses meals and realizes that, hey, it's 5 o'clock at night and I've only had 600 calories on the day, right? Starting to pay attention to that, because we want to make sure that we aren't getting those huge spikes and those huge valleys in our blood sugar levels, essentially, is why we want to make sure that we're kind of sustaining that energy throughout the day. Mm-hmm. So set timers, set reminders if you need them. Like Kayla said, stash things around you so that you have them available. Kayla always used to, not so much anymore.
No, not anymore.
Kayla used to always have something in her vehicle ready to be eaten right now, until I started eating them every time I found them. So now she doesn't do it.
Yeah, there was a period of time where those were emergency chocolate bars, so they aren't chocolate bars anymore.
They smartened up over time.
Okay, Donna says her Rose doing my new workouts. Her Bud is activity besides workouts. She has an e-bike now, so I know that she's got a little extra activity happening there. And Thorn still nighttime eating. And this has been one of Donna's thorns for a while. It's been her nighttime eating, but we've really cleaned it up. And so I'm not sure why it's still a thorn. Maybe she's noticed herself snacking a little bit more. I guess I'll find out next week when we sit down to have our chat. But, one of the things is that we've talked about changing the nighttime snack. So Donna really likes sweet, but she also is very conservative with what she was having. So she was having bran flakes for a while. And I was like, really, bran flakes? And she's like, oh yeah, it's such a treat for me. I was like, most people don't say that, but have at her, get that fiber in. So we were good with that. But she also recently added in protein Frosties, because she loves ice cream. And so she's been making variety of different kinds.
Protein fluff?
Yeah, exactly. Blending those, she's like, I can't believe how delicious these are. So I'm curious as to where the stumbling block might be here whenever her and I talk. But I know that nighttime eating is a hard thing for a lot of people. I feel mentally that I almost always have a nighttime snack. So I know that whenever I do decide to diet, that I need to include that in my plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And taking the shame away from nighttime eating, because again, it's so funny because there's so many different aspects of this healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. Because there's some people that wake up in the middle of the night starving because they eat dinner at 5-6 o'clock and then they don't eat a thing after that. So then in the middle of the night, they wake up and they're like, man, it's 4 a.m. and I'm hungry, or 3 a.m. and I'm hungry. So they have a snack, right? So what would be the difference of having that snack at 3 or 4 a.m. or just having a snack at 8 o'clock when you go to bed at 9:30, right? So again, cutting food off before bed, right? We don't typically want to be eating right before, because if you're somebody that suffers with sleep or deals with any kind of anxiety or trouble with sleep, then it does kind of cut into your sleep time if we're digesting food right as we're going to bed. But if you're not somebody that deals with that, if you are somebody that can eat and still get restful sleep without having to worry about missing out on sleep, it's not the worst thing in the world. Sure, it might spike the glucose levels right before bed, depending on what we eat. Sure, it's not the best time to do something, but there's no shame in having food at any given time in the day, right? So releasing that perfectionism again and saying, okay, I know that I enjoy nighttime snacking. So like Kayla said, plan it in, right? Make it part of your day. And just try and keep it a little bit further away from bedtime. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes before you go to bed. Have it an hour before you go to bed, right? Just include it in your plan, so then it isn't something that you think is a bad thing. Because inherently as humans, we almost like to push that boundary, right? So if we're told, hey, don't do nighttime snacking, you're like, oh, well, I bet you I can get away with a little bit of it, right? So let's just start to plan it in. Take the shame away from it and make it something that's going to follow along with your goals.
100%. And maybe I know Donna is one of these people, so I just kind of want to put this out there because Jamie was saying that she doesn't love breakfast. Well, breakfast isn't your jam. You don't have to
Don't
call
eat-
it breakfast. You could call it lunch, dinner, and nighttime snack. It's still 3 meals. Like you get to choose how and what that looks like. And healthy looks different for each person and each person's lifestyle. And it comes back to what you enjoy. There's some nights where I don't nighttime snack because I eat dinner late and I'm good. But there's some nights, more often than not, where I do nighttime snack and it's my snacks over the years have gotten healthier. I mean, literally last night I was going to have smoked salmon and crackers, which I didn't because we didn't have any crackers. I was kind of upset about that. But that's a huge shift from maybe the nighttime snacking that I used to do.
Ice cream and potato chips.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So looking at the progression over time, nobody jumps from ice cream and potato chips to smoked salmon and crackers. It's quite a transition. So maybe you go from ice cream and potato chips to one or the other, or to, whipped cream and berries,
Or just reducing portions on both and slowly working your way out of the ones that are those really highly palatable ones at bedtime.
But it comes back to what you want and what you're willing to do and then analyzing what you're not willing to do or what you won't do right now, because that progression comes in time. This has been a years in the making for Mike and I to get to this point. So for yourself, if this is something that you desire to have, I want you to question, what do I want? What am I willing to do right now to get there? And what I'm not willing to do. And when I know what I'm not willing to do and I know what I am willing to do, I can start to take action on the am willing. And over time, that willing might change and grow and evolve, but just allow yourself the practice of where are you at right now. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progression.
Yeah, we do a thing called road mapping in our transformation program where it's quite literally like looking at what our big goals are, where we want to be, and the steps that we need to take to get there. And then we break down those steps into micro steps. So it's like it really takes that viewpoint of here's where I want to be. This would be like ideal, absolute. This is what I would consider quote unquote perfect right now. Okay, what are the steps we need to do to get here? Where are we starting from? Where we want to get to? And then sustainable steps and habits to get us there, right? So again, this is something we break down in a lot more detail in other programs, but just wanted to toss that out there.
Yeah. Melissa says her rose, honestly, everything. I feel like I've really found my stride and it feels like a part of life now to plan meals, to eat real food, to move my body. This program never felt like a diet, but I feel like my entire life and mindset has completely changed, but I don't feel like anything is lacking. They are good.
Let's go.
Yes, this is amazing. But adding in the new workouts provided, even though my temptation is to do my own thing in the gym, I'm reminded real fast how hard simple body weight movements can be and how they work muscles I didn't even know I had.
I think I saw Casey say the same thing in our group for this in the Spring into Fitness group, and he's just like, yeah, didn't realize I was working muscles I didn't even know I had. I love it.
That's how I feel every time we play soccer. Thorn, not a damn thing. Life is good. Keep it up, Melissa. If you want to go into the gym and do your own thing, do that. But if you want to do body weight stuff, do that. Like, find the groove that makes you happy. There's no perfect way to do this.
Yeah, and just because you're doing the workouts that we have, like the body weight ones, doesn't mean you can't do the gym ones too that you want to do, right?
And you could add weight to some of those body weight exercises.
And fun fact, if you go into the back end of your app, if you click the little U button and then you go into workouts, there's actually workouts in there that could be done in a gym too.
Something to think about.
Got you.
All right.
All right, Jen's rose this week is getting small, daunting tasks done, sticking with one project till the end on a list of many. Love it, right? That scattered brain. It's like there's a million things to do. Let's focus on one first. Love it. Bud this week, organization, making more time to complete my list of not top priority, but still important. Love that. And not sacrificing time for the everyday items, meals, workouts, work, and family.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that, right? Because again, it's It's kind of what we were talking about before. It's like, what needs to get done? Let's get that shit out of the way. What are the things that we could just kind of sprinkle in throughout the week and get done when we can? Great. Let's start to release that perfectionism of everything has to be done at the same time. Love that. All right. Thorn for Jen is working with a screen in front of me all day for work, leisure, and even the small to-do tasks, feeling so disconnected. Makes me a bit lazier than I feel because screen time, I am either sitting or stationary, even if I'm completing jobs and projects and checking them off the list. I'm majority immobile when doing so.
Oh, I feel this, Jen. I got out of a desk job to work in health and fitness, and now I feel like I work a desk job again. And at no point in my life have I ever been less mobile than working a desk job. So anything that you can do to get up and get moving more often, whether that's, on if you take a lunch break, can you get up and just go outside and maybe walk around the block? But finding those little moments to move your body, you'll often see me like if you were watching me, I guess, work, you'll see me move or stretch.
Be weird. Don't stand outside of our window and watch us work.
Yeah. You just drive past the business. You can watch me in the window.
We're in the fishbowl.
But I'm often moving and stretching and trying to get up as often as I can. So yeah, I agree. Sitting in front of a screen all day not only makes me lazier, but it makes me tired. I feel really lethargic. So if you don't have blue blocking glasses, I highly recommend you get them. They were a game changer for me when I had to be in front of a computer all day. So that would be my piece of advice.
Yeah, and I love the idea of those kind of micro movements throughout the day. And I just thought of this too, actually. So, Jen, if you are somebody that enjoys or has done or would consider doing yoga, we have something on our YouTube channel called Yoga Snacks. They're like a quick 5 minute get up, do a quick movement. They are awesome for people that are working desk jobs because you can do it beside your desk. You can literally push your chair in and you have enough space to do your movement right there. Takes 5 minutes out of your day, maybe. So even if you did, say you took a snack 5 times a day, that's 25 minutes of movement right there. And you're getting quality movement in. You're going to be able to stretch your joints and your muscles. It's a beautiful way to kind of integrate that. So check out our YouTube channel. If you want, we can share a link with you guys. Just shoot us a message saying, hey, yeah, I want that link for the yoga snacks. We can send that over. Or just check out our YouTube channel, Iron Body Coaching, and just search yoga snacks.
Love it.
Shameless plug.
Michelle says Rose meals are good, although I find when I have to make dinners, they are boring to me because I don't know how to make the sauces. So it just adds meat and veggies and vermicelli noodles or rice because I can't really screw that up, right? And I learned that a $58 prime rib roast only makes 5.5 meals. Yeah, welcome to inflation.
It's just inflation.
But you know what, Michelle, I love that your rose is keep it simple, right? So when I keep it simple, I can eat healthy whole foods, right? I can buy sauces to add to them, right? The meat, the veggies, the vermicelli, I can change up those sauces if I choose, or I can use just seasoning. I always say when we're first starting to learn how to cook, keep it simple. This is literally how Mike cooks when I'm not around. It is chicken, rice, and veggies without fail.
It's not always chicken. Sometimes I do beef.
When have you done
I've
beef?
done steaks. Barbecue season.
News to me. Michelle's bud busy is coming along, finding it tough to focus on anything else, and Thorn not being physically able to complete some of the tasks I wouldn't give a second thought to before I got hurt. Now it's a struggle to do some tasks. But
F them things.
F them things.
I agree. F them things.
But I get it done regardless. You know what? That is that perseverance. You know what? This is hard. I'm willing to do hard things and I can push through. It is humbling sometimes when we are able to do things. Previously, we get injured and then we can't. So just keep trucking. I know that, Michelle, that you are a go-getter and that you're not going to give up and that you're going to keep finding a new way. So I absolutely love that. I just do want to share, like, we watched this Orlando Bloom show. I can't remember what it's called. Life on the Edge, or I don't know. Anyways, it's an Orlando Bloom show, and he's like trying to do things that would take years to learn how to do, and he's doing them in a week. And he learns to rock climb from somebody that has no hands. He goes out rock climbing with this girl. She has no hands, and her partner in rock climbing is completely blind. And I was like, you know what? If that's not the definition of overcoming adversity, like I don't know what is. And so, Michelle, I know that your injuries um are pretty like hefty for your life. And I just know that you can overcome that adversity and that you are going to do amazing things. So just keep going.
One of the strongest women I know. Love it.
Yes. So thank you guys for taking the time to listen to us chat today for the Rosebud Thorns. Hopefully you got some value. If you want links to those yoga snacks or anything else that we've kind of been talking about, please feel free to reach out. We are here to support you in your journey.
Have an awesome rest of your day, guys.
Bye for now.